Okay. Hmm. Okay. So I will be. Let me see what I can do over here. I'll be doing a couple of subjects right now. So let's see what I need to do here. I'm thinking electrical. Mostly let's just like do some electronics and try to maximize what we're going to be doing in electronics because I'm spent right now. I have nothing in me. Let's just do that. It's going to be on ACM timetable. Yeah, here we go. Oh, you know what? I think I have. Yeah, so I can play that, right? I made some shitty music, so I'm gonna try and play that right now. Hero's Journey. Why did it close though? Oh, it doesn't replay automatically. What? They deleted the entire block because I remember like, oh my god, so definitely not sure if we added. We did not do analog. Let me make a separate folder for keeping all these. This beat though, like let me make it electronic, just electronic. Keep it close to hard folder. We'll go to the top folder. The top folder is favorite one. This slide is 7.7 megabytes. That's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. And it's taking 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 17, like it's increasing now. Again. This is one of the songs. Then I also have another one here. It's like something that you cook up when you're like randomly playing your notes and you're feeling like, oh my god, this is gonna be that's what I made. I didn't actually like make music. Like I made the music, Google Music and whatnot. I was a kid. This one has unrealistic death metal bar for some reason. Um, we also have these are like when you're actually studying. We aren't actually studying, right? We're just there. We're just there, man. Doing nothing else, just being there. Let me stop that and all that. Okay, wait. It's gonna play on forever. Fine by me. So, see, here's the problem. They didn't start like in our college. They didn't start with diodes. So I'm kind of in a bit of a conundrum here. We have that was fast. That was 150 kilobytes. Wait a minute. This one was 10 slides and it was 150 kilobytes. This one is 7.7 megabytes and it's going to have more. What the hell? Okay, not this one. Electronics. So in electronics, I'm thinking about switching to Linux because it's easier to. I don't know why. I just needed to say that. I guess Linux sounds cooler. So we kind of know all of these things. There are 23 steps. It's not that big though. You don't have to do all that. Okay. This is the first one. So I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to name this slide one. That's too lame. I need some sort of classification of that. I don't want to name it course name because that sounds like I don't know. It doesn't sound good. So I'm gonna name this die old. Get it? Die old. So one die old. Yeah, it sounds crazy, I'm good. Analog. Wait, we did that. So then analog diode. This was the one. Diode. Yeah. No. Okay. BJT. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Tyson. Tyson. Jiu-Jitsu Tyson. Bipolar junction transistor. What is this? What is this? Yeah, well, you did not have to do that, man. So in electronics file, BJT, and this one's going to be named trans, because it's trans. Transistors, so I'm going to name it trans. Or trains. Right? But no, there's a space, so now it's trains. Now the next one is Boolean algebra, or is it? I don't think it is. It's downloading. Let's see. There's a little hike in the sound, which makes it sound cooler, I guess. This is midterm, max term. Let's keep it for now. Let me see the other ones. The other one is digital topic number one. Digital topic, common nervous systems. Yeah, I think I've done this before. It doesn't sound that hard. Where did my yeah, here it is. Boolean algebra and K mapping. This one is BOS SOP. Let's ask ChatGPT what comes first. POS, KOS, K mapping, or you know what's crazy though? Yeah, it's not as crazy. Should I say? I don't think so. I don't think I should. I will, but just a minute. Digital topic. I'm saying this is because I want everyone to fail. It is it is because I want everyone to fail. But at the same time, the reason that I'm saying this is from experience. Good teachers are really, really hard to come by. What's it called? See, I just named the fourth one binary Bobby. Now, a lot of people aren't going to get that reference, but I did, so I'm not going to repeat it. Huh, I'm not going to repeat it. So, what I was saying is, don't like, don't listen to your teachers. Don't ever think that your teachers are above what the book says. The book is right. That's why it's called a book, right? I'm pretty sure. Wait, what's the etymology of book? I always search etymology, but I always spell etymology wrong. I don't know why. Collection of written pages bounded and is related to the word beat. Butch. Maybe birch and books have a similar etymology. Etymology has a Y in it in the middle. I don't really see that Y when I write. I'm crazy like that. I know. So we did binary, as I was saying. So like right? You can't live by what your teacher teaches you because he does not teach you well enough, man. And I say this truly from my heart. Skip classes all the time. No one really cares. I'm pretty sure that the teacher doesn't even check the attendance and he never really cares about who attends his class or not because he knows by himself that he can't teach as good. He is not a good teacher. He or she cannot teach you. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. I love teachers. Honest to God, the best people that I've ever found, the most entertaining ones at least, were teachers because they were able to convey some information. But it's so scarce. Like the pool of teachers who are good is so scarce that it's just better that you study on your own. I know you're going to miss out on that great teacher who's going to lead you throughout life, but you can be that teacher for yourself. And honest to God, I kind of have a hatred for teachers who are bad. So when I was in I don't know, third or fifth, like it was in that time, third to fifth grade, what happened was in my art class, right? It wasn't an art class. It wasn't because they weren't teaching us art. They were teaching us how to make like these. We were supposed to make a snowman, right, on our page, and we were supposed to put like this cotton over it. And I made my snowman. It looked horrible. It did, but I don't really care. And then I did not really care. Then the teacher, she came up and she said that that drawing is bad, right? But I was like, no, right? It is bad. It was bad, and it was objectively bad. But the thing about art is subjective. And by definition, art is subjective. You can see art in absolutely anything, even in electronics and electrical. You can see how someone came to the conclusion that Kirchhoff's law would work by seeing that things don't really become stationary when in a flowing circuit, right? And using that logic, you can say that it's not actually moving. Nothing is actually moving there. They're just bumping off of each other, and then you're going to confuse that with other problems. But you can see the art in that, right? You can see the art in maybe a shitty Kanye song, right? And then you can see the art in a really good Kanye song. But you can see the art anywhere. You can see the art in collection of colors. You can see the art on the shitty music that I'm playing in the background. You can see the art anywhere. And now there's someone who's defining art, and that's your art teacher. There aren't really art teachers. There is no art teacher. So that's why I kind of hate teachers. From then on, obviously, I've had a couple of good teachers. My teacher back when I was in 11th grade, he used to be my physics teacher, and he used to be one of the best teachers that I could find ever. Like he could teach fish to fly. he could teach like pilot to not crash, which is probably required, but he could teach that to a pilot because he was that good of a teacher, right? He wasn't really all academic, and he wasn't really all comedic, right? Because you have teachers who do that all the time. But he was a really good teacher. If I have to show love to a singular teacher, I would show that to my 10th grade chemistry teacher. She was stern, but she taught the things that were meant to be taught. Or maybe I was just sitting on the first bench, that's why. I do that sometimes. Become a nerd. I shouldn't have though, because sitting on the first bench really makes you a target and whatnot. But I was, so what are you gonna do about it? I don't sit on the first bench anymore. It's more about comfort now. I gotta sleep, man. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do multiplexers in the middle. So I don't know how this is going to go. I'm probably going to change the name. Let's keep it as ninth multi. It's called MUX for some reason. I don't know why. I do want to make computer architecture though, because I want to make my own computer one day. Like my own build of computer. Rectifier. I'm pretty sure rectifier falls before that. Rectifier is for rectification of current, but it's like easy, pretty easy. We did like learn a better rectifier, but it wasn't as good. It was like what do you call it? It went up, but like it went to some certain level, but then it just kept on bouncing off of that level. So it was like sine, but it was shifted. But it wasn't sine. It was a mod of sine, which was shifted. First of all, it was a mod, and then what they did was like the mod cuts off half of the part of the current, and that causes it to not work properly. So they put some diodes in it, and then it is rectified, and it is completely modded. So before it wasn't modded. It was okay. Yeah, it was mod of the function rather than mod of the input function. Like it was mod of f of x rather than mod of sin x, and then they changed it so that it was mod of sin x. All of the current was corrected, and then they changed it so that there was a diode current in the middle of it. Like there was a diode that was stuck on both the sides, and there was a capacitor somewhere in it. I don't know where. And you could rectify that capacitor, and then you could make that. And now we're using that in PWMs. I guess I don't know. Like most of what I said made sense to me, but the PWM did not. I don't know why I had to include a PWM there. So I'm going to name this unrectify for no apparent reason. So let's start with diodes, because I want a diode too. Who doesn't? This is predicted by a view. I don't really care. How do I go full screen here? I don't know. Should I present it myself? 5. Okay. There we go. What is this? A laser? Can I make it a laser? Laser pointer? So let's start with diodes. Semiconductors materials made from silicon, germanium, gallium arsenide. Everyone knows gallium arsenide. My favorite is gallium arsenide. Wait, gallium falls right next to germanium though. It's 33, 30. No, it's 30. Was it 31, 30? I think so. No, it was 31 and 32. Germanium and arsenic. It was zinc, gallium, germanium, and arsenide. Is that it? Zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenide. Zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenide. So it was. So we could use germanium because it was right below silicon, and like that row had conditions for making a semiconductor. So silicon, germanium, and then you had gallium, and then you use gallium and arsenide. This was some common sense. And what is cool about silicon is that it is just like carbon. We do not have silicon life forms because silicon is too big. I guess. Why can't I move this? How do I move this? Do I have to press it all the time? No. It does move. Okay, fine. The father, an electron made from nucleus. That is, parent atom has higher energy state. Any electron in the atomic structure. So what's happening here? Like, could you give me some sort of nuance as to what is happening here? The father electron is from. Wait, I forgot to switch on my timer. Now I want to buy a new case because this case sucks. Wait a minute. There we go. So I started my timer right now. Probably gonna study for 3 to 4 hours, maybe even 10 minutes. Let's see. This is just about three things: insulators, semiconductors, and conductors. We should remember what insulators work, right? Like, this isn't my electrical notebook, by the way. I have an electrical notebook. This is not my electrical notebook. What is this? I have no clue. I even wrote a story here. Story back to this. I made a couple of stories back here or there. So what? Yeah. So insulators have a band gap of 5 volts, about 5 volts. It is 5 electron volts because it is the unit of energy. Then conductors or semiconductors have a band gap of it's usually about like the lowest to the maximum. So 0.66 to 3.37, 0.67 to 3.37 electron volts. That is semiconductors. Next up we have conductors, conductors. Conductors don't really have a band gap because they have direct energy, so they must show a little bit of resistance, I bet. But that's wait, let me ask it again. How do I move the laser pointer? I wanna know positive to negative. So there's a p type over here. It looks a bit like this, like a triangle and a little like fan in front of the plane. And this side is the positive side, and this side is the n side. When you give current through the p side towards the n side, it has a little bit of resistance, but then it overcomes that resistance. And from n to p side, it is total resistance, and there's a big resistance, and you can overcome that resistance a bit. It reduces the barrier. The external voltage reduces the barrier and depletion. Electrons from n to p holes flow from p to n. So when you're giving in current, current goes from positive side to the negative side. So if you have this is by convention. It goes from positive to negative side. This is known as common sense. When you're giving current through a diode, right? PN junction, like whatever you call it, right? When you're giving current through this, it allows current to go from P to N side, but it disallows current to go from N to P side all the time. So this is N to P is reverse bias. So this is forward bias, and N to P is reverse bias. Only at breakdown voltage will that be allowed. So there is physically no way to do that. Now, why does this even happen? Well, so first of all, you send current in through the P side. Now, P side, first of all, before even any of this happens, there is a little bit of leakage. So what it looks like is this. P is filled with holes. So let's just make a couple of holes here, and filled with negative charges. Let's not make positive charges. Or should we make positive? I don't think we should make positive charges. So P is filled with holes maximally. Right? It's filled with holes. I think I'm right here. And N is filled with, well, N is filled with negative charge. Couple of holes, but mostly negative charge. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. N is negative, so it has more electrons. What am I doing here? What? Right. So we need to go into the N and P type. The P type is made by one lack of balance shell. So that could be like a couple of things. I don't know what exactly is the element here. I'm pretty sure this isn't even in our syllabus right now. They haven't taught us this in class. An N type has one excess, so that would be germanium, and this one has lac. So if you had say five spaces that you could fill, then you know what, you would have eight spaces that you can fill, right, around one atom. So if you had that, then in P type there would be a hole there. There wouldn't be an electron, it would be one lack of electron. So that means it would be a couple of holes, couple of negatives, couple of holes, negative, hole, negative, hole, negative, and hole. But on the N side, it would be negative, 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 hole, negative, 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 negative. And what would, right? Yeah. And what would happen when you attach both of them is that there is going to be a depletion region that's going to form in the middle, and there's going to be current that's going to exchange when you attach both of them. Both of them are made over each other. By the way, we use crystals to make diodes. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure actually. You should watch that potassium video about LEDs. Then the holes go to the other side, that is the N side, and the negative charges go to the P side. So the negative charges form this sort of band on the P side, and the holes form a band on the N side, right? And this is the depletion region. Now the rest of the body of the P type is going to be similar, as in it's going to be what it used to be, which is a couple of spaces like holes and a couple of negative. Not a lot though, because all of them went their separate ways. And on this side, on the positron side, on the N side, there's going to be negatives still there. Couple of holes, still negative. And this depletion region is what is stopping the electrons. Now, you know that this is the P side and this is the N side. You know how to depict this as well. Now let's see what happens when you send current through it. When you send current through the P side, what's going to happen is that the electrons are going to enter onto this side, and it's going to jump that side, and it is going to ease off on the depletion region, let's see. So this is showing what would happen when you're entering in reverse bias. We want to see what would happen in forward bias, which apparently is not shown here. That's crazy. Okay, it's here. What happens is that there are two currents here which are not mentioned beforehand. Don't know why. It is IS and ID. Now what does IS and ID mean? ID is VD, which is the, I don't know what it is, like current through the diode, I guess. So VD is the current through the diode, pretty sure now. And IS is current due to majority charges. So IS, ID, which is the depletion, is going to be current due to majority minus current due to minority, right? This makes no sense. In fact, it makes lack of sense. Like it literally doesn't make any sense. What? Okay, I'm not even gonna try and understand what this means. Okay, fine. I get it a little. So what basically happens when you send it through forward bias is that the current goes and it makes that part of the P type a sort of it makes it, I guess, positive in nature, because when current is going in this direction, the electrons are bouncing off of this direction. So that means they're causing some effect over here and causing some effect over here. So this would be the P side. P side will be P side on the battery that you're having. So that means this would be the P side, and all the electrons are going to go onto the P side. So the electrons are going to be attracted to the P side. So that is going to cause this to become like a straight line. Like it's going to cause everything that was wrong to become right, and all of the holes are going to go on towards the electrons, and the electrons will have to shift over this direction because they're going to caused by you sending current through there through forward bias. I just that on my screen. So that makes sense, I guess. IS is the reverse saturation current. Now, what is the reverse saturation current? It is the current in reverse saturation. Okay, what is the reverse saturation current? Honestly, this beat has been going on for a little longer than I wanted it to. Let's change it up. Let's go on to unrealistic death metal. Why does all of my music sound the same? It does. It totally does. Isn't even like fully my music. Maybe. At least it's not. It's not AI. Let's stop that for a while. Is like wait. Crazy music, crazy. It's good music though. Crazy. Is that me? Okay. As I was asking my fellow friend, what does IS mean? It is the reverse saturation current, the concept in PN junction diodes. In reverse biased condition, I reverse. So there exists a nearly constant current, which is basically leakage, and it is the I reverse. So this is going to be the pivot point, and it is going to be I reverse things in the universe who am IS, and it exists, and it is almost constant. That's it. That's all it is. It is the I reverse current in reverse direction, which basically is resistance, which is almost infinite, but it isn't infinite because there is nothing such as infinite. Other than that, why it exists, n-side minority carriers, whatever, blah. Like a small amount of current which is almost constant, and then you apply our actual current that just sends out through there, and that is going to be your ID. So ID is going to be the current in a valid situation, right? VD is the applied forward bias, so ID would be the forward bias current. So current in forward bias. So ID is equal to IS e to the power VD by NVD minus 1. So IS is almost constant. Wait, let me plot this in Desmos real quick. Let's see, here it is Desmos. So ID, let's say that X is equal to some constant value C into e to the power y by some other constant value which we are going to change, a, and then minus 1. That's it. Why, what's wrong here? Oh, I didn't name CNA. Yeah, this is about what it is. So the more that you're going to increase the value of n in the formula, which is called, what is it called? Shockley's equation. Shockley's equation is quite a name to give course it is. Of course it is. You should know this already. VT KT by Q. Now I'm gonna use my brain over here a little bit. You have the Boltzmann equation for energy, which is freedom of degree of freedom divided by 2 into kT. Now, when you take that for energy, or I'm pretty sure it is energy over moles, that's how it's framed in chemistry. But if you take that and you divide it by the charge, you get the voltage. But you can't really do anything with the voltage unless you make it thermal voltage. I think that's why they did it. See, Boltzmann constant, it shows up here. 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23. You need to remember that. And absolute temperature in terms of kelvins, obviously. Other than that, so the amount of n that you increase, what is n here? Ideality factor. Oh, shit. Is, wait, in Shockley's equation, the n part refers to PV, no, it's nRT ideal over nRT non-ideal. Wait, is it usually more? Yeah, it is. So nRT ideal over nRT unideal. Is it? I don't think it's talking about gases here. That was kind of dumb. Yeah, it isn't. But it does the same thing. Is that right? Is that it? That was it for Shockley's equation. No, there is more. Wow, god damn it. I got so excited. Yeah, we did that, fam. We already did all of that. Okay, Shockley's equation. There's a question. VT is about 26 megavolts because K already given. T at room temperature, you can find it out. And charge for an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. N is not given, then we assume N to be 1. Fine by me. Any objections to that? None, I say so. No bias condition, you will see that in a no bias condition, VD is equal to 0. Okay, this is interesting. What does no bias mean? Does that even... Wait, no bias just means that there's no current flowing through. So you don't... Okay, fine. No bias, then ID is equal to 0. Reverse bias, then it's going to be about IS. But you know what? That actually does make sense because it is left over. It does. See, what's basically happening here is VD is going to be seen from the perspective of the diode, so it's going to be reversed in that sense. And when you're thinking about it, you're supposed to see it from the perspective of the diode. Imagine yourself as a diode, and you know this angry guy, whatever. You know, imagine the battery as the battery, and whatever direction the battery goes in, if it enters from a positive side and it lets go from a negative side and it connects to the negative side of the battery, then it is going to be in forward condition, and then the reverse, obviously you already know what the reverse condition what happens in the reverse condition. So when you reverse it, it literally gets reversed from your perspective. You're both facing in the same direction. I'm going in this direction, you're going in that direction. That means the current is going to leak out of there, it's going to enter into my negative side. And when I'm angry, when I turn red, run. When I run, turn red. VD is less than 0. And then in forward bias condition, forward bias, we have, what do we have? We have VD is greater than 0, and so you have whatever is left over here. ID equals to IS dot e to the power VD NVD. What happens to 1? Lord knows. Oh, yeah, it's IS, so that makes sense. Yeah. just modeled using Desmos. It's crazy. That does not look like the graph though. Maybe if I flip the x and the y, there we go. That looks more like it, right? And here the c value is supposed to be positive. I mean it's current, so I would assume it to be positive. There's really no reason to not make it positive. The more the value of a, the harder it is going to be to climb that, and so we can actually calculate it here. So resistance is basically dV by di because it's dynamic in this sense. So you can actually name something called dynamic resistance here. Let me just check if they talk about dynamic resistances here. VI characteristics. This is it. This is dynamic resistance, right? It is norm, I guess, and it is about these questions. I found these questions really annoying when I was studying back in 11th and 12th grade. Like these questions, I absolutely hate these questions. I don't really like them. It's talking about the pay gap. No, like these questions, I find them really annoying. But whatever. So if we want to figure out the dynamic resistance, the dynamic or small signal resistance of a diode comes directly from Shockley diode equation. So the dynamic resistance, like the way that we've been taught, we have never been taught dynamic resistance in this way. It always uses like some sort of weird equation. It never used Shockley's equation. So now, like from the graph, you really understand what's happening here. Let me like make the graph better. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna write down the equation. It is y equals to c into e to the power x by a minus 1. Now c e x by a minus c y, and you're going to differentiate dy by dy. So the c part is going to go to hell, and you're going to get c and then by a e to the power x by a. Anything else here? I don't really think so. If you do, yeah, it's going to stay there only. It's almost like a similar equation to that. But now the thing is that this equation is going to be e to the power x by a for different values of x. So it's going to mirror the above equation, but it's not going to be shifted by such. This equation is shifted, and so it is going to cut at the value, I'm guessing at y equals to 1 and x equals to 0. It's going to cut the y-axis at y equals to 1. But at the same time, I'm not guessing, I know it's going to, but at the same time, we don't really need this. I want something of substance here. I want a dynamic equation. I don't want this equation. So what we're going to make instead is a line, I guess. Let me try that right now. Let me just paste this equation. I already know what it's going to look like. Let me just see what it would look like again. Okay, and this decides the resistance at each one of the points of the aforementioned graph, which was y equals to c into e to the power x by a minus 1. Now what I want to see is the x value each and every single point. What does that mean? Using dy by dx at each and every single point as the slope of the graph. So saying that this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Let us actually, make this. This is called b, and it just acts like b. So we're going to say y equals to bx. Fine, completely fine. But here, what we're going to see is this isn't exactly what I was looking for actually. You know what? Let's make this something called E. Not R E, R. Yeah. So now it's going to ask what R is. And so now this does not define the equation again of y equals to bx. And at all the different parts, if you want it to be there, you would have to say x minus x1. So it would be x into this really work here. This ain't it, fam. This ain't it. Wait, what even is that? It's not mapping out the right thing, but I'm pretty sure we're getting close here. So I said switch r with r and x with x for different points in the equation, keeping c by a, keeping that equation. So it should map out the tangent at every single point in this equation, but it doesn't for some reason. I used r right, x minus x1, and b with x1, y1 coordinates. But b here is dy by dx, so it would act as the slope of the equation. Then you have the right slope, then you have r. So why doesn't it follow? Let me see. Does it even intersect? It does twice. So this is not the tangent line. Something's wrong here. B into x minus r, and if you make this 0, it cuts it. But then this is still problematic, man. Something's wrong here. At 1 it is not intersecting the line, even though it should. Something's wrong here. Y equals to m into x minus, oh shit, it's going to be y minus y1. What's y1 here? Y1 would just be this y. So we need to make this equation and then a secondary equation, which is going to be, that's why it was missing the y. Like it was still a tangent, but it was still missing that y component. So the constant value wasn't enough. So let's just say it's going to be k. K equals to what b is minus 1. B into a by c into c by a, and closing bracket here, and it would be y minus k. Does it? It doesn't. Am I tripping right now, fam? It doesn't do it now. It does. 100%. There we go. So now we have a beautiful dynamic resistance equation. All it took was 5 weird things that I had to make over here, and still really messed up from that. So that was fun. That was characteristics and diodes. First slide that we just finished there. Yeah, that's the end of the slide, and pretty gosh darn good. I did like the dynamic resistance and Shockley's equation because I've never heard of the Shockley's equation before. This is the first time that I'm hearing it. Some weird guy's gonna say, oh, this is the first time that you're hearing about Shockley's equation. We learned that in Allen when I was 3. But I don't really care because I learned that today, and it's a good thing. 1 a.m. today, Shockley's equation. It's ID equals to IS